Hi, I'm Natalia from Yes Art Marketing, and this year I did something a little crazy. After years of helping other artists grow their businesses, I decided to restart mine from zero again. And long story short, before I became a marketing coach for artists, I actually was an artist. I was a full-time artist. I spent a few years selling my art online and teaching painting, and when marketing project came to life, I struggled handling them both, so I let the art go. Actually, that's not true. I told myself that I was just going to take a break for maybe a few months, probably, and well, that became 3 years. I almost forgot how to paint, and I also kind of lost the spark. I do love marketing. It's what I know. It's what I know well. I have a master's in it and I have a lot of work experience and I do have much knowledge to share. But something happened this year that made me reevaluate things. I injured my back and I ended up with a herniated disc in my spine, which caused incredible pain. And I was stuck at home for weeks, unable to move, unable to walk. So once I was actually able to walk at least a little bit and I could sit up straight, I started painting again. And something clicked in my head and I caught a spark and I decided to do it again. I decided to commit to my own art and make the process of rebuilding it public so I could implement my own strategies and show how they actually work to my students. This was back in August, and over the past 3 months, I've had consistent sales on my Etsy. I sold originals, prints, and online lessons, and I even launched an art collection and I sold a couple of pieces from that. I taught a live painting workshop in Milan, and I'm growing on multiple social media, and I'm completely swamped but happy. And this video is my way of sharing the backstage of this reborn business that's just growing again from zero, so you could have a closer look at what actually worked for me. Now, I come from a career in sales or marketing. I have a degree, I have a work experience, and I sold my own art, and I helped countless artists do that too. You'd think it would be easy this time, right? I mean, I literally teach this stuff, and on some level, some things are easier, some things are intuitive to me, but what surprised me the most is how many things I actually had to relearn. It's a completely different feeling being again on the inside of it, not talking theory but actually doing things in practice. And I felt a new level of respect for all of my students because it is hard to do this. And today I want to share these lessons with you because they're the same lessons that became the foundation for the Artpreneur method, the step-by-step system I now teach to artists who want to build something sustainable. So let's just dive in. Lesson number 1, knowledge doesn't replace action. When you know all the strategies, it's easy to hide behind them. I used to think, I'll restart when I'm ready, when I have the time, when I feel like it, when it's the right moment, when, I'm too busy, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, the hardest part isn't planning. It's starting again, even when you don't feel 100% ready. I just had a kick in the butt from the universe. I realized that I can't live like this anymore and I have to do art, and no matter what. And it's messy, it's unclear, it's a big risky experiment. It's also kind of scary to do this in public, but it's mine, it's my life, and I just gotta give it a try now. And I had to remind myself that confidence doesn't come first, it follows. Small imperfect actions. I reopened my art page without a clear understanding of how I was going to do it, how I was going to grow it again, and I still did it anyway, and some clarity came later. And that's something that I see in so many artists. They wait to feel ready before showing up, they postpone, and so much time passes without action. And I want to be an example of doing it scared, doing it confused, doing it anyway without a plan, and encourage you to do what you had been postponing. Lesson number 2, consistency still wins, but it looks different now. When I was starting the first time, I could post daily, test everything. I could stay online 24/7. Art was my only job. Now, life looks different. More projects, more students, more pressure, more content, much less time. So I had to redefine what consistency means for me. I had to rearrange my schedule and make sure that I block time for my art and for marketing the art every week. For me, it became 1 day a week dedicated fully to my art, nothing else. Regular content batching and planning, and careful prioritizing and organizing my workload, which means that this way I make sure that I show up for my business regularly. I take small steps instead of trying to do everything at once, although I'm always tempted to do everything at once. I'm a doer, but yeah, I have to prioritize, and sometimes it means that some projects take much longer time than I was hoping. But I do celebrate small wins because they compound into a working business already. And this tiny system actually works better than the chaotic one that I used years ago, because consistency isn't about frequency. It isn't about doing everything at once. It's about stability and discipline. Lesson number 3 actually comes out of the second one. The slow way is the sustainable way. I restarted, and I'm still very tempted to rush, to post every day, to sell fast, to catch up, to prove to everyone that I'm not a fraud, that I can do it, that all of this is working great. And that's actually how I burned out last year trying to do it. I'd fallen into the same trap that I warn artists about. So this time I decided to test the opposite. Slow, deliberate progress, one painting at a time, one offer at a time, one reel at a time, one project at a time, one goal at a time, one platform done well instead of 5.5 done, halfway. And not only did it work, it feels doable. It feels like I'm in control of it, and Instagram is not the boss of me. I do what I can with the resources that I have, because you can't build longevity from panic, from being overwhelmed, but slow and steady wins the race. And this is something that I also teach inside the course, how to build a business that fits your schedule, fits your energy, instead of draining everything out of you, because you can't show up for the long run if you're always in a survival mode. Lesson number 4 is marketing doesn't have to feel fake. Even as a marketer, I had to relearn how to talk about my art without sounding like a brochure or like ChatGPT, which is still a great help. Thank you very much. But still, because marketing that feels forced, it doesn't last. You know it, and I know it, is that the only way to sell art is to be authentic about it. What helped me personally is that, first of all, I stopped trying to paint what sells, and I started painting silly things that I wanted. Tomatoes, tomatoes, and tomatoes. And there is this whole story behind them. And I decided I'm just going to own it. There is nothing else I can do. I want to keep my passion and my voice and not feel trapped by my own strategies. And the moment that I started speaking from my real story, from my heart, why I paint what I paint, and what it means to me, everything kind of shifted. I received so much positive response from social media about my tomatoes, and people engaged more. They remembered me, and that reminded me that authenticity is the strategy. And this is why in the Artpreneur method, marketing isn't taught as tactics to fool people. It's taught as communication, as the way to show up for your art that is natural for you, as showing people the context in which your art is born, in the way that works on social media. I teach how to make people feel your art and not just see it. Lesson number 5 is that sometimes motivation and discipline fails you, and systems are what keeps you going. There are days and weeks sometimes when I don't want to paint, when I don't want to post, when I don't want to sell anything. Sometimes I get sick, I get tired, life things get in the way, I have to travel sometimes. So the iron schedule is not always the solution. Plus, we're all humans, and self-doubt exists for me too. I have days when I'm just struggling mentally and questioning my decisions, and I do feel overwhelmed. And honestly, those are the moments when most artists quit, and I know it, and I have to remind myself every time that if I can't quit now, I will quit when I have a good day, and I can't quit on a bad day. And it helps, because on a good days you usually don't want to quit. So what helps me stay on track is willpower, yes, but also it's having a plan and a system, clear steps, routines, and checkpoints. Because when the process is defined, you don't need to reinvent it every Monday. You just have to follow it. It's easier to stay consistent this way, because you're not pulled in different multiple directions by too many thoughts and ideas. You have certain things to do, and you do them. And that's exactly what the Artpreneur method gives you. It's a structure to make your art business stable, predictable, and lighter on your mind. There are systems that allow you to minimize your time spent on marketing, minimize your time spent on content, and things working even when you're not constantly on the phone. This is the truth that I've relearned this year, that success in art isn't about being the most talented or posting the most or being overworked the most. It's about learning to think like an entrepreneur, one who knows how to balance creativity, structure, and purpose, how to think big picture, long-term goals, and not instant gratification with likes. And that's not something that we're born knowing. It's something that we can learn. It's something that you can learn, just like I did, and so many of my students have. So, if you've been trying to turn your art into a real business and you're tired of guessing and second guessing and feeling stuck, I want to invite you to join the Artpreneur Method. It's my full signature course where I walk you step by step through building your art business from the ground up. Clarity, content, website, email marketing, and selling systems included. It's a solid foundation that will allow you to grow, scale, and redefine your art business when you need it. It's the basics that don't fail you. I've poured everything that I've learned from working with artists one-on-one, running my own business, and restarting it from scratch into this framework that actually works. You can find the link to the waitlist in the pinned comment, and I would love to know, if you had to restart your art business today, what's one thing that you would do differently? Like this video if you feel inspired, and follow my channel if you'd like some regular art marketing advice and to become an artist that sells. See ya!